What if the reason you can never feel truly satisfied is because your mind was never taught how to stop wanting more? Think about it. No matter how much people achieve, something inside them still feels incomplete. They chase money, love, success, validation, attention, pleasure, status, believing the next thing will finally bring peace. But the moment they get what they wanted, the feeling disappears. Then the mind creates another desire, another goal, another craving, and the cycle never ends. Modern society calls this ambition. But according to the ancient wisdom of Lao Tzu, this endless chasing may actually be the source of human suffering itself. The more the mind wants, the less peaceful it becomes. People today are constantly comparing themselves, consuming endlessly, scrolling endlessly, and chasing lives they think will make them feel whole. Yet despite having more comfort, more technology, and more opportunities than ever before, so many still feel emotionally empty inside. Why? Because desire promises fulfillment, but secretly feeds dissatisfaction. In this video we'll explore one of Lao Tzu's deepest teachings about human desire, emotional emptiness, and why the mind keeps searching for happiness everywhere outside itself, while ignoring the peace that already exists within. Most people spend their entire lives chasing something they can never fully satisfy. They chase money, attention, love, status, pleasure, success, recognition, beauty, power, validation, possessions, experiences, and endless distractions. They believe that once they finally obtain the thing they desire most, peace will arrive. Happiness will stay. The emptiness inside them will disappear forever. But it never does. The moment one desire is fulfilled, another immediately appears. The human mind says, just a little more. More success. More love. More attention. More achievement. More certainty. More control. And because desire never truly ends, most people spend their entire lives emotionally restless without understanding why. According to the wisdom of Lao Tzu and the teachings of the Tao Te Ching, this endless chasing is one of the deepest causes of human suffering. Lao Tzu believed that the more people become controlled by desire, the further they move away from peace. Because desire itself is not always the problem. The real problem begins when desire controls your identity. Modern society is built entirely around feeding desire. Every advertisement tells people they are incomplete. Social media constantly exposes them to lifestyles they do not have. The world teaches human beings to compare themselves endlessly. People are taught that happiness exists somewhere outside themselves, hidden in future achievements, future relationships, future wealth, or future approval. So they spend years postponing peace while chasing an image of fulfillment that constantly moves further away. This creates quiet emotional suffering. Many people look successful externally while secretly feeling empty internally. They achieve goals they once dreamed about only to discover the satisfaction disappears quickly. They buy things they thought would make them happy, yet the excitement fades. They receive attention and validation, yet insecurity still remains underneath. The mind adapts to everything. What once felt extraordinary eventually feels normal. Then the cycle begins again. Lao Tzu understood something modern people rarely stop to consider. Desire multiplies itself endlessly. The more the mind gets, the more the mind wants. This is why some of the wealthiest people remain deeply unhappy. This is why celebrities surrounded by admiration still struggle emotionally. This is why people who finally achieve success sometimes feel more anxious than before. Desire promises completion, but often creates deeper emptiness because it teaches the mind that fulfillment always exists somewhere else. Human beings become trapped psychologically in future-based living. They tell themselves, I will finally relax when I achieve enough. But enough never arrives. The mind keeps moving the destination further away. Peace becomes conditional. Happiness becomes delayed. Life becomes an endless chase toward emotional satisfaction that never fully lasts. Think about how exhausting this is. Most people rarely experience the present moment completely because the mind is always wanting something different from what already exists. Desire trains people to focus on absence rather than presence. Instead of appreciating what they have, they obsess over what they lack. Comparison intensifies this suffering further. Social media constantly exposes people to curated versions of success, beauty, wealth, and happiness. Human beings compare their private struggles to other people's public highlights. This creates emotional dissatisfaction even in lives that are already meaningful. Lao Tzu believed nature reveals a different way of living. Trees do not compare their height to other trees. Rivers do not envy oceans. Flowers bloom fully without needing applause. Nature exists without the psychological burden of becoming more. Human beings, however, constantly feel incomplete because society conditions them to believe their value depends on accumulation. But accumulation never heals emotional emptiness. A person can accumulate money while remaining lonely. They can accumulate attention while feeling unseen. They can accumulate achievements while feeling disconnected from themselves. This is why Lao Tzu emphasized simplicity. Simplicity frees the mind from endless craving. It allows people to rediscover peace in ordinary existence rather than constantly chasing extraordinary experiences. One of the most painful truths about desire is that many people are not chasing what they genuinely want. They are chasing what they were taught to want. From childhood, society programs people with ideas of success, beauty, power, and worthiness. People inherit desires from culture without questioning whether those desires actually align with their soul. They pursue careers to impress others. They seek relationships to avoid loneliness. They chase status to feel valuable. They collect possessions to create identity. But eventually, many discover they have spent years pursuing goals that never truly belong to them. This creates deep inner confusion. Because when people disconnect from their authentic nature, life begins feeling emotionally empty, no matter how much they achieve externally. Lao Tzu believed human beings suffer when they move too far away from simplicity and truth. The more artificial life becomes, the more restless the mind becomes internally. Modern people are overstimulated constantly. Endless entertainment. Endless scrolling. Endless consumption. Endless comparison. The mind rarely experiences stillness anymore. Silence feels uncomfortable because silence forces people to confront themselves honestly. Desire often functions as distraction. Many people chase constantly because stopping would force them to face unresolved loneliness, insecurity, fear, or emotional pain. This is why desire becomes addictive. Not because the object itself is powerful, but because chasing temporarily distracts people from inner emptiness. Think about how often people use desire emotionally. Shopping to escape sadness. Validation to escape insecurity. Achievement to escape feelings of inadequacy. Attention to escape loneliness. Pleasure to escape emotional discomfort. The mind becomes dependent on external stimulation because it fears stillness. But Lao Tzu believed stillness contains wisdom. When the mind becomes quiet, people begin seeing clearly. They realize many desires were never truly theirs. They realize how much suffering came from comparison. They realize peace was always available beneath the noise of endless wanting. One of the most dangerous illusions surrounding desire is the belief that obtaining something externally will permanently change internal suffering. But emotional wounds do not disappear simply because circumstances improve. A person who feels unworthy internally may become successful, yet still feel unworthy. A lonely person may enter relationships yet still feel emotionally disconnected. A fearful person may gain wealth yet continue living anxiously. External gain cannot fully heal internal absence. This is why Lao Tzu emphasized inner alignment over external accumulation. A peaceful person with little may actually live more richly than a wealthy person consumed by endless craving. Modern culture rarely teaches this because society profits from dissatisfaction. The more insecure people feel, the more they consume. The more they compare themselves, the more they chase. Entire systems depend on convincing human beings they are incomplete. But Lao Tzu taught that human beings already contain enoughness within themselves. This idea feels almost revolutionary today because modern life constantly encourages psychological dependence on external validation. People seek approval online from strangers. They measure worth through numbers, attention, and status. But identity built entirely on external approval becomes fragile. The moment approval disappears, emotional collapse begins. Desire tied to ego creates endless suffering. The ego constantly wants more because the ego survives through comparison. It needs superiority, recognition, and distinction. But peace cannot coexist with constant comparison. A person obsessed with becoming more rarely experiences gratitude for what already exists. Lao Tzu believed freedom emerges when people stop clinging so tightly to desire. This does not mean abandoning all ambition or rejecting all pleasure. Taoism does not teach emotional numbness or passivity. Rather, Lao Tzu warned against becoming psychologically imprisoned by craving. There is a difference between enjoying life naturally and desperately depending on external things for emotional completion. A peaceful person can enjoy success without worshipping it. They can experience pleasure without becoming addicted to it. They can pursue goals without attaching their identity entirely to outcomes. This creates emotional freedom because happiness no longer depends completely on obtaining more. Many people fear letting go of desire because they believe desire gives life meaning. But often, compulsive desire steals life itself. People become so obsessed with future achievement that they forget how to live presently. They sacrifice relationships for status. They sacrifice health for productivity. They sacrifice peace for ambition. Then one day, they wake up emotionally exhausted, wondering why success feels empty. Lao Tzu understood something profound. A calm mind experiences richness differently. Simple moments become meaningful. Silence becomes peaceful rather than uncomfortable. Nature becomes restorative. Presence becomes enough. But the addicted mind cannot experience this because it constantly seeks stronger stimulation. Modern life trains people to consume endlessly while rarely feeling fulfilled. The tragedy is that many people never realize their suffering comes not from lacking enough, but from constantly wanting more. This desire creates internal resistance against reality itself. The mind says, "This moment is not enough. This version of me is not enough. This life is not enough." And because the mind rejects the present constantly, peace becomes impossible. Lao Tzu believed acceptance creates freedom. Not passive surrender, but deep alignment with reality rather than endless psychological warfare against it. A person who accepts themselves no longer needs constant external proof of worthiness. A person who appreciates simplicity no longer becomes emotionally enslaved by endless craving. A person connected to inner peace no longer fears stillness. Nature demonstrates this effortlessly. The ocean does not compete. The moon does not chase attention. Mountains do not seek validation. Everything in nature exists fully as itself. Human beings suffer because they forget this simplicity. Instead, they become trapped in endless becoming, endless proving, endless wanting. And eventually, they lose connection with their own soul. Perhaps this is why so many people today feel emotionally exhausted despite living in a world filled with endless convenience and stimulation. Human beings have more access than ever before, yet inner peace feels increasingly rare. Desire without awareness creates emotional emptiness because external accumulation cannot replace inner connection. Lao Tzu believed wisdom begins when people stop asking, "What else do I need to become happy?" and start asking, "Why does the mind believe it is incomplete in the first place?" That question changes everything. Because once people begin observing desire honestly, they realize how much suffering it creates. They realize how often the mind postpones peace into the future. They realize how comparison poisons gratitude. They realize how ego constantly demands more recognition, more attention, more certainty. And slowly, something shifts internally. The chase begins losing power. Stillness becomes less frightening. Presence becomes richer. Life becomes simpler. Not because external problems disappear completely, but because inner resistance decreases. Lao Tzu taught that true wealth belongs to the person who desires little. Modern culture misunderstands this deeply. People assume wealth means accumulation. But emotional freedom may actually be the highest form of wealth, because a person no longer psychologically depends on endless external conditions to feel complete. Imagine how peaceful life becomes when your happiness is no longer controlled entirely by what you lack. Imagine waking up without constant comparison. Imagine no longer measuring your worth against strangers. Imagine enjoying life without needing every moment to become extraordinary. Imagine feeling enough before achieving more. This is the freedom Lao Tzu pointed toward. Not withdrawal from life, but freedom from emotional slavery to endless desire. Because at the deepest level, the truth about human desire is painful. The mind keeps chasing more because it has forgotten how to feel whole already. And perhaps real peace begins the moment people stop searching for completion everywhere outside themselves, and finally rediscover it within.